everyone, this week welcome to Yoga from my living room. This is the best we can do at the moment, so I'd encourage you to do this sequence if you can once or twice a week for the next few weeks until we're back in action as normal. This is suitable for kids, older kids should I say, teens and adults. And for kids, just do what you can and take breaks when you need to. And for teens and adults, just stretch to where you feel the stretch. Once you come to your edge, don't go any further. Be very mindful not to overstretch. I'll take a little bit of breath work at the beginning, then the stretches and a short relaxation at the end. But at home I would encourage you to do a little bit more breath work at the beginning and try and stay in the relaxation for longer at the end if you can. So as always, we'll start from lying down. So coming to lying down position on the mat. Hands on the tummy. Inhaling through your nose, fill your tummy. Hold your breath. And then very slowly exhale through the nose. Emptying the tummy down as you go. 3 more rounds like that. Inhaling, filling. Holding. And exhaling slowly. Inhaling, filling, holding, exhaling slowly, and one last time, inhaling, filling, holding, and slowly exhaling. Let the breath come back to normal, and as I said at home, you can continue that for a little bit longer if you have the time. To start our stretches, you're going to bring your knees up, hands behind the back of the knees, and stretching the legs towards the ceiling a couple of times just to begin to wake them up. You can keep bending the knee as you're doing this. Keeping the legs extended, you can point and flex your feet. Make circles with your ankles. And change direction. Bring the 2 knees into your chest. Let your arms come down by your side. Let your 2 knees fall over to the right as you turn your head to the left for a spinal twist. And just holding that stretch for a moment. Coming back to center. Bring the knees back in towards the chest. And let the knees fall down to the left hand side as you turn your head to the right. Holding that twist for a couple of breaths. Coming back to center. Bring your right knee in. You can hug it in. Extend the left leg in front. Point the toes in both feet. And then change legs. You can continue that movement for a couple of rounds. You're always hugging one in and pushing the other one away. The toes are pointed on both feet. Beginning to wake up the hips, the front of the legs. The next time you extend, you can push your heels away. So the very same movement now, but you're pushing the heels away just to start to wake up the back of the leg. The next time you bring your right knee in, you can hold it there. Let the left leg lie flat on the mat. Bring your arms by your side. Let the right knee fall over to the left and place your left hand on it to hold it there. That's enough for a stretch for a lot of people, but if you can bend your left knee and hold that foot with your right hand to bring a quad stretch in there. You don't have to do that second part, it's whatever feels comfortable for you, and you can continue to look towards the ceiling. Coming back to center. Bring that right leg onto the mat. Bring the left knee into your chest. Let the left knee fall over to the right. Place your right hand on it to hold it there. And again, this might be enough of a stretch for you, but if you wish, you can always bend that right knee and hold that hand with your, or hold that foot with your left hand. And again, looking at the ceiling here, or you might like to look over the left shoulder. But for me, I prefer just to look towards the ceiling. I feel I get a better quad stretch that way. And release, coming back to center. You can bring the 2 feet up and roll yourself up to seating. Sitting nice and tall. You can bring your right hand behind your back. Link in with the left if you can, if not, just hold it behind your back. And let your head fall to the left nice and slowly until you feel that stretch on the right hand side of your neck. Just to release any tension there, holding that stretch. Coming back to center, bring the left hand behind the back and let the head fall to the right, holding that there. Coming back to center. For spinal twist, bring your 2 hands over to the right hand side. So I'm getting my left and right mixed up. Lifting your spine up, you're going to twist from the middle of your spine. So imagining that twist is coming from the middle of your spine. Even though the neck is turning, the twist is from the middle of the spine. Coming back to center. And into the other side. So the same thing, nice straight spine and then twisting from the middle of the spine. Placing your hand on your thigh, don't pull off your knee if you can. To center. For the lower spine, the lower back, a nice release here is to stay nice and straight and then begin to lean forward, keeping your sitting bones on the mat at all times. Bring your fingertips onto the floor first. Some people might feel it here, that might be enough. For others, you might be able to come down onto your hands. You may be able to come down onto your elbows or bring your head down. So it doesn't matter if it's your fingertips, your elbows or your head that's on the floor. You're just coming to the point where you feel that release in the lower back and you're just holding that there. Releasing down into that stretch. Coming up slowly, walking the hands back in. Then switching to the other side, placing the other leg in front. And the same thing again. Sides, both sides might be different, so just go nice and slowly into the second side again. Fingertips first. Hands. Stopping it exactly where you're feeling it. Maybe the elbows, or you might be able to bring the head down. Relax the muscles down here, and you feel that opening in the lower back. Coming up, walking the hands back in, and then going over to hands and knees. Placing the hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, and the knees are hip distance apart. First we're going to do a few rounds of cat-cow here. So as you inhale, you're going to look up and bring your spine down. Exhaling, rounding out that spine and letting the head come down. So you're bringing the navel as near as you can to the ceiling. Inhaling and looking up. Working all those little muscles along the side of your spine. No movement in the arms and legs, just moving the spine from the tailbone all the way up to the neck. 2 more rounds like that. Pushing all the way up. Really stretching as much as you can. And 1 final round. Coming all the way up. Bring your spine back to a nice level, straight position. Continuing with hands under knees, hands under shoulders, knees under hips and extend the right leg back straight. Bring the left arm in front, tighten the core muscles. We're going to go for 5 here, elbow to knee, crunching the core each time as you bring it in. Inhaling, crunch, exhaling, and really pushing away. 2, 3, 4, and 5. After 5, we're going to hold that leg extended, bring the hands down, and bring that leg to the ceiling nice and straight 5 times, working that glute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring the knee to the mat, bring the knees nice and wide here, bring the big toes together, and sitting back into child's pose. You can stretch your hands straight in front, or if you like, you can join the hands, bring them back overhead to get a stretch on the upper arm. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. And returning to hands and knees. Bring the knees back in under the hips. And the opposite side. Extending the left leg back, right arm in front, tight tummy, and we go for 5 here. Inhaling and exhaling. 2, 3, let your eyes follow your hand out each time. 4, and 5. Holding here, bring the hand down and leg to the ceiling 5 times, lifting from the glutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring the knee down, tuck the toes under, and stretching in to downward dog. So pedaling back the heels here, your first downward dog of this sequence. Stretching the spine, opening the shoulders, the hips, pushing the legs back. You can look towards your hands, walk, step, or jump to the front of the mat. We're going to go straight into our sun salutations, coming all the way up, stretching up towards the ceiling, back bend at the top. Hinging from your hips, bring your arms down, and coming into a forward fold. Let your head and your hands hang down here. Having the legs straight, or even a small bend in the knees if you need that. Feeling that stretch down the whole length of the back of the leg. Let the weight of your head help to stretch those legs. Place your hands in your shins, looking up, flattening your spine. Hands on the mat and stepping into a high plank. A bit of movement here, breathing in down dog. Breathing out plank. You can hold plank, or for anyone that would like to bring in push-ups, you can bring them in here. Breathing in down dog. Breathing out plank. Breathing in down dog. Breathing out plank. If you're doing your push-ups, you can go straight into cobra, or alternatively from here you can lower down onto the mat, knees, hips, chest, pushing up into cobra, and up onto the back of the feet if you can, lifting the knees and the hips from the ground, tuck the toes under, and back to downward dog. And stretching the legs back here. In downward dog, you can do whichever movement you like to do. You can stretch your legs back by pedaling. You can keep the legs straight and come right up onto the tippy toes and right down again. That's a nice thing to do. Or of course you can hold static and just pushing back towards the wall behind you. From here you can bend the knees, look at your hands, walk, step or jump to the front, and come all the way up for the second one. Hinging from the hips, forward fold. And this time in the forward fold we're going to do a little bit of movement. So keep the toes and the knees pointing forward. You're going to very slowly rotate from side to side, helping to stretch the side of your legs. So you're just moving the arms and the head from side to side just a couple of times. Coming back to center, hands on the spine, hands on the shins, lengthening the spine, hands on the mat, stepping into high plank. Usual sequence here, breathing in down dog, breathing out plank. Holding plank or 2 push-ups. Breathe in down dog, breathing out plank. One more time, breathe in down dog, breathing out plank. Lowering onto the mat, pushing up into cobra, onto the back of the feet, tuck the toes under, and back to downward dog. And then doing whichever movement you like to do here as we did before. Pedaling the heels, coming straight up on the legs. You can even put one foot on top of the other to push it down. It's a nice move. Or another nice move is to rock from side to side. Getting a little stretch in the lower back. Looking towards your hands, you can walk, step or jump to the front. For the last sun salutation, coming all the way up. Beginning to loosen out a little bit more. Forward fold. This time in forward fold, you're going to bend the knees. Bring your hands around the back of the legs. And bring your chest onto the top of the legs. Let your head hang down. A nice intense stretch, you're really feeling it on the back of the legs here. Hands onto the shins, flattening the spine. Hands onto the mat, stepping into high plank. Breathing in down dog. Breathing out plank. Breathe in down dog. Breathing out plank. One last time. Breathe in down dog. Breathing out plank. Lowering onto the mat. Pushing up into cobra. And a little bit different this time. This time we're going to come back down onto our tummy. You're going to bring your left arm in front. Place your head on your left arm. You can bend the right knee, reach back and pull in that foot. Getting a quad stretch on the right. And just hold that stretch there. And switch sides. Release, hands under the shoulders, pushing up onto the hips, and back to downward dog. Looking towards your hands, you can walk, step or jump to the front. Bring the arms all the way up, and join the hands together, coming over to one side to stretch the side of the body. Back to center, and to the opposite side. Back to center. Bring the hands apart beside your ears. Bring your right leg back. Bending the left knee. So you want a nice wide stretch here in Warrior One. You want to be able to feel it on the hips, but not so much that you lose your balance. Your fingers are shooting towards the ceiling. There's a bend in the left knee, but you can still see your toes on the left foot. Keeping the legs exactly as you are. You're going to stretch up, coming into a little back bend here. Keeping the legs exactly as they are. Forward fold, bring your hands as near as you can to the ground or onto the ground. Holding that there. Bring your left elbow, place it onto your left knee. Bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. You can keep that hand towards the ceiling, or if it's possible, bring it out over your head to stretch along your shoulder blade. From here, return that hand to the ceiling and then onto your spine and opening back the front of the right shoulder here, looking back towards that direction. Coming up nice and slowly, bring the two hands behind your back, straightening the left leg, lift the chest and bow down over the left leg until you feel the stretch in the back of that leg. Your gaze is in front of you on the floor, maybe a foot or two, just making sure that your head isn't hanging down. And you're feeling that stretch in the back of the leg and holding that stretch there. Being mindful not to stretch too far, just go to the moment where you feel it and that's where you stop. Coming up nice and slowly, you can step in halfway, arms by your side, and from here we're going to do a balance. So you're just going to do a little bit here, find a focal point on the wall. Looking at that, you can leave your hands down by your side or wherever your hands need to go to help your balance. Bring the right leg, you can ground into the left foot and then bring the right leg up, just a little bit. This might be enough balance for today, and for kids during the class, this might be enough as much as you can do. See how you go after this. You might be able to lift higher, holding it there, or you might be able to go up. You're stretching the standing leg, strengthening the lifted leg. Just holding that stretch here as much as you can, and then coming down out. Shake off the legs. Bring the arms up beside your ears again. And from here you're going to bring the left leg back. Again, nice strong stance. Bending the right knee, making sure you can see the toes on the right foot. Back leg is nice and straight. Arms are beside your ears, fingers pointing towards the ceiling, and really stretching up here. Bringing in a small back bend here, and then you can forward fold. Bring your hands towards the ground and just seeing where they'll come. For me on this side, the hands, they do come down, but it's a little bit more of a stretch than the other side. Bring your right elbow onto your right knee, bring your left arm up. Again, move nice and slowly, watching the balance here. And if it's comfortable, you can bring that hand out over your head in the direction of that right knee. Bringing your gaze to wherever is comfortable. You can look up, or you can look straight ahead of you, or you can even look out and follow that hand. The choice is yours. Bringing that hand up now, you can bring it onto your spine and opening up the front of that shoulder, getting a nice stretch here across the front of the shoulder, keeping the legs exactly as they are, so you're holding that stretch on the hips. From here, coming up, bring your two hands behind your back, straightening that right leg, lift the chest and bowing down over the right leg. Again, your gaze is in front of you on the floor, foot or two, keeping the integrity in your neck. And you're just feeling that stretch all along the length of the right leg. Coming up nice and slowly, stepping in halfway, arms by your side, grounding and rooting into the right foot, finding a focal point on the wall, lifting the left leg just first a little bit, see how you go, and then lifting to where you can and holding it there. And remember that if you fall out of it, that's okay, you can come back into it again. You're stretching the standing leg, strengthening the lifted leg and holding that stretch. And releasing down, shake off the legs. Come into stand lengthways on the mat. From here you can bring your legs nice and wide on the mat. Reach your arms up and coming into a forward fold. So again, you want to use the weight of your head hanging down to stretch the back of those legs. Really stretching down into those legs, using the inner leg. And then you can begin to walk your two hands over to your right leg. Keeping that leg nice and straight, making sure it's straight, placing the hands on the leg wherever they will reach, and just stretching into that right leg. It doesn't matter if your hands are by the ankle or if they're further up. That will depend on your range of motion. Walking the hands back to center, and then walking the hands over to the left leg. You can bring the hip right around with you so that you're stretching into that left leg, holding that stretch there. And again, it doesn't matter where the hands are. It depends on where it feels good for you. Don't stretch down to the ankle if you're feeling it too much. Come up along. Come back to center. And from here you can bring your arms up to shoulder height. Looking towards your right, you can point your foot towards the right, your right foot, and bend the right knee, coming into warrior two. A nice strong stance here. You're looking out over the right fingertips. Your core is nice and tight. There's a stretch on the hips. From here, keeping your legs exactly where they are, you can breathe in. And as you breathe out, you're going to bring the body forward, keeping the two arms straight out from each other, and inhaling back. Coming back to where it feels good for you. 2 more times like this. Exhaling forward. And inhaling back. One last time, all the way forward. Coming all the way back. And coming back to center. You can bring your hands onto your hips, straightening that right knee. And you can square your hips towards the right hand side over that right knee, just as far as you can go that feels comfortable for you. The right leg is now straight, the back leg is straight. You're looking towards the wall. You're just going to bow forward while continuing to look towards the wall. And you're feeling that stretch in the inner upper leg. And you're just holding it to the point where you feel it. Don't ever go further than the point where you feel it. Just stay at your edge. As you relax into it, you might go further, but don't force it. Coming up nice and slowly. Bring the hips back to center, bring the arms back to shoulder height, plank the right foot forward and onto the other side. So from here, relaxing the shoulders down from the ears, you're going to point your left foot towards the left wall and bend the left knee. Again, coming down into a nice hip stretch here, keep the arms nice and strong, engage your core, breathe in. And as you breathe out, you're going to bring the upper body forward, keeping the legs where they are, and inhaling back. Moving nice and slow, nice and controlled, getting a nice stretch all along the side of the upper body. Exhaling forward. And inhaling back. One more time here, all the way forward. And back. Bring the arms back to shoulder height. Hands onto the hips. You can straighten that left knee and then turn the hips to the left. So you're looking over that left leg. Back leg stays nice and straight. You're just turning as much as you can, depending on how your hips are. Keep looking towards the wall. And then you're going to bow forward until you feel it in the inner upper leg, and then you're holding that stretch there. So this can be an intense stretch for some. So you're just going to where you feel comfortable. If you're feeling it at this level, then you hold it there. Just going to where you feel it. For me, I feel it right here, and this is where I stop. From here, a little bit different on this side. You're going to put a soft bend into both knees. Bring your hands to the ground. Pivot on the back foot. Bring the front foot back. And back to downward dog. Bring your knees to the mat. Coming back to hands and knees. From here you can slide your right knee into your right hand. Bring the right leg up across the front. And bring the left knee back to where it's comfortable for you. Once you're in position here and that feels okay, you can come onto the fingertips. And just sitting back on that hip there if that's comfortable. If it's too tight, if it's uncomfortable, just bring the left knee in closer again or come down onto the hands or the elbows. Holding it here if that feels okay. Stretching the hip flexor on the left. You might feel it on the glutes on the right depending on if they're tight. You can continue to hold like this, but I always give the option of a quad stretch here. If you're taking the quad stretch, you can come down onto the left hand, bend the back knee, stretching back, holding that foot and bringing it in. Releasing here, and the right hand down and come back to hands and knees. So same on the other side here. We're going to slide the left knee into the left hand, bring that foot up across the front as much as you can and bring the right knee back. Coming onto the fingertips and sitting up here, feeling it on the right hip flexor here and possibly the left glute. Sitting nice and tall. And if this is too much pressure, you can always come down onto the hands or even onto the elbows. Some people like to do it like that. But for today, if you can, we're going to hold it on the fingertips. If you're choosing to bring the quad stretch in now, you can come down onto the hand on the right, bend the back knee, stretch back and pull that foot in. Releasing down, coming back to hands and knees. And you can swing the legs around or sit back over your feet, coming back to seated position on the mat. Bring the soles of the feet together. Hands on the feet. Starting with a nice straight spine and then just coming forward a little bit until you feel it in the hips here and holding that stretch there. Releasing up, bring your right leg out, left leg in and stretching out to that right leg. You can put your hands in your shins and lean into it by bending the elbows, or if you can reach the feet you can pull back the toes gently here. Releasing and the opposite side. Same thing again, either hands on the shins and you lean into it by bending the elbows, or holding the feet you can pull back your feet here. Coming up, bring the two legs in front and shake them out. So we're going to finish by doing 2 core exercises. For the core work, like I say in class always, if there's any issues with the lower back or with your tummy, just don't push it too hard. Either modify it to suit yourself or just skip this part and take an early relaxation. So going on to lying onto the mat again. You can bring your hands under your lower back or under your bum for support here. Leg lifts to start and we're going to do 14. I'll just show you the modification first. If your back is sore or there's any issue with the lower back, you can always just do one leg at a time, counting 7 on each side. If everything is feeling okay and your back is okay, we're going to do 2 legs at a time, counting 14. You can inhale the legs up and exhaling down and continue like that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14. After 14, you can hug your knees in, bring one hand into each knee and just rocking back and over or making circles on the mat with your spine. And change direction. For the last set, you can again place your hands under your lower back or your bum. I'll show you the modification first. If there's issues with the lower back, you can always just bring the legs up straight and down 14 times. If everything's feeling okay and you want to work a little bit more, we're going to do 14 where the legs are extended straight out. So extending out and inhaling in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and holding it there. To finish this part of the class, bring your feet onto the mat, arms by your side, and window wipering your legs. Let your knees fall to one side, turn your head to the opposite. And vice versa. You can move continually from side to side, or you might like to stay in one side for a breath or two. The choice is yours, just go with how you feel. For the last part of our class, we're going to do relaxation. So coming to a nice comfortable lying position on your mat. Arms by your side. And you can bring a blanket on you, or you can bring a pillow under your head, whatever's comfortable. I'm going to be guiding the meditation, first a body scan meditation, just for about 1 minute, 2 minutes. And then I'm going to lie still for about 3 minutes. But for you at home, you can continue to lie still. Even though I will wake up and finish the class, you can continue to lie for as long as you can. Closing your eyes, beginning with your feet. Consciously relax your toes and your feet. Bring your attention to your legs. First your right leg, relaxing the right leg down from your ankles up to your knees to your hips. Letting go of all tension from the right leg. And now bringing attention to your left leg. Letting go of tension from the ankle to the knee to the hip. Bring your attention to your tummy, your core muscles. Let your tummy get nice and soft. Relax the tummy, relax the muscles. Relaxing your neck, chest area, top of the shoulders, letting the tension release from that area. Bring your focus to your spine. Notice how your spine feels on the mat. If there's any discomfort, make adjustments. And then letting go of all tension from the spine. Noticing where it hits the mat, how it feels, and releasing tension from the back area. Bring your attention to your right hand and your right arm. Starting from the shoulder, let go of tension from the shoulder down to the elbow, down to your hand. Releasing all that tension from the arm and the hand. Let the right arm get heavy on the mat. focus now into the left arm, the left hand. And starting at the shoulder, let go of all tension from the shoulder to the elbow to the hand. Let the left arm get heavy on the mat and relaxing that arm down. Bring your attention to your face, to your head, relaxing down. Chin, mouth, tongue, nose area, eyes, let go of tension from around the eyes and the forehead, the jaws. Then scanning your body from head to toe a couple of times, let go of any last bits of tension. And then just lying here for the next few minutes. Continuing to relax here, you can stay relaxed and ignore me for the rest of the next minute or two. Otherwise, bringing your attention back to the room, starting to wake yourself up by bringing small movements in, wriggling fingers and toes, stretching arms and legs, or doing whatever feels good for you to wake yourself up, blinking the eyes open, and bringing yourself up to seating on the mat. So thanking yourself for taking the time to do this home practice. It's harder to do it at home than it is in class, and looking forward to seeing you all soon. Namaste.